Hello, Mike here from Greenway Electric. Well, today I was reminiscing about EV history a little bit. I was thinking back to the first time I saw a real live electric car, and that particular car was the GM EV1. And if you're not familiar with that car, that was a car that GM produced in the late 90s from around 97 to around 2002, 2003. That was a vehicle that they had available for lease in California and Arizona in a few different areas, and it was being leased through Saturn dealerships. And the first time I ever saw a GM EV1 was when I first visited California in 1997. I was arriving at the airport. It was the John Wayne Airport in Orange County, which is near Los Angeles. And as I finished collecting my luggage, I was walking out to the pickup area where the cars are passing by. And the first exciting car I saw was a DeLorean. I thought, hey, this is great. I love California car culture. And I saw a DeLorean pass by. And not long after that, I saw a GM EV1 pass by as well. And I had my eye on it, and I thought that's pretty cool for me to take 5 steps out of the airport terminal, and I'm already seeing all these awesome cars. Little did I know what the future would hold for the GM EV1. And I guess at the time I was interested in the vehicle because it was cool new technology and I wanted to learn more about it. So I was thinking about those times and I wonder if there's any around left today. Now, if you're familiar with the story, I won't tell you the whole story except to say that there is a whole documentary from 2006 called Who Killed the Electric Car? And basically by the year 2003, all the leases of all those cars were completed and the owners were forced to return the cars back to GM, and GM crushed most of them except for a handful of them. And they were not sold to the consumer, so there was none left in consumer hands. So, having said that, I did do a little bit of research on the internet here to see if there's any around to take a look at. There is one in the Smithsonian Museum to take a look at, although of course in the museum I'm sure they won't let you sit in it. But I was searching around the web and found some interesting things I'd like to share it with you here. So follow me and take a look. Well, the first thing I found was an article here from 2019 where someone said that there's an ultra rare GM EV1 abandoned in an Atlanta parking garage. And if you take a look here at the vehicle, yeah, it does look almost abandoned. You can see there's quite a layer of dust on it. You can see the rear tire is flat, and the front suspension seems to be up too high. It's almost like if, whatever was in the front under the hood here, it seems like that was maybe removed. The weight of it here has been removed, but it looks like it's in pretty bad condition. It looks like someone drew something in the dust here, and basically. Every single one of the 1,117 EV1s was declared a failed experiment, pulled off the roads over the protests of happy lessees and crushed. But there's one out here in an Atlanta parking garage. So I'll leave a link to this article if you want to take a read through it. But it gives you some images there of the vehicle. I don't know if it still exists, if it's there today, but it does show you some of the images of what it looks like. But it's interesting how this car ended up in this parking garage. And as I understood it, GM did do some donations to different universities for research purposes. So this is likely one of those vehicles. Although before they did the donation, they did disable the car entirely, so it was non-drivable. Essentially, they caused some of the main controllers, either they removed them or they destroyed them in such a way that the car was not drivable. Just want to take a quick time out to say thanks for watching the video, and if you would consider subscribing, I really appreciate it. And it's free, not like that magazine subscription you had 25 years ago where you had to pay. This one's free, and I appreciate it. Thanks very much. Back to the video. There's a few more images here of the car. This one is from 2016, even going back, so there's less dust on it, but it looks like it was sitting in the same exact spot. Yeah, it looks like the same car, just a bit earlier on. So I don't know if that still exists. It would be pretty cool if I was in the Atlanta area to see if I could find that car. And of course, I did find some, other images of the vehicle. It certainly has a unique look to it. It's interesting design, and I'm sure the design is primarily due to keeping the coefficient of drag down. There's also a video here that comes from Motor Week, and interestingly, when partway through the video, they show the sort of internal structure of the vehicle, and this is the front of it here. But if you look at the battery is in the shape of a T, and there's batteries, immediately in front of this rear suspension here, and then there's a center stack of batteries that goes up and down, and that immediately reminded me of something else that looked very familiar, and that was this battery, and that is a battery out of a Chevy Volt. So if you think back in the 90s when they were designing this vehicle and its structure, and it looks like they were trying hard to keep the batteries, sort of in the center of the car and low to the ground to keep your center of gravity low. Well, they took some lessons from that, and they continued into the 90s, in the 2000s when they were designing the Chevy Volt to use a similar style battery pack. So it's interesting the similarities between those cars. So I guess you could say Chevy Volt is kind of the GM EV2, although the reality is the Volt is also a gasoline plug-in hybrid, so it's not a pure electric vehicle like the EV1 was. But most interestingly, I did find a video of someone who found one at a university in Ohio. Okay, so let's take a look now at this video this young fellow made after he found a GM EV1 just sort of sitting around in the parking lot.
And this is it. Holy crap.
Very sun-baked, looks like. Paint has faded significantly over the past 25 years.
Obviously very worse for wear, but in much better shape. Just covered in cobwebs. Wow.
So Ohio State University is where this one's located.
This part's really cool right here. In the front here, this is actually how you would charge it. There's a little paddle that slides in here, and it actually used inductive charging.
Charging the EV1 is very simple. Just insert the charger paddle into the charging port, which is located in the vehicle's front fascia.
Interesting, the location of the charging port was right in the front of the vehicle. Same with the Nissan Leaf, but in other vehicles it's been moved to other locations around the vehicle. So looking inside, the interior is very simple.
Holy crap. This is insane. So this is inside a literal piece of history. I'm gonna sit in it because I have to. Wow. This is crazy.
So we get a little bit of a view here of the center console and the buttons that they've got there. So up top we've got the radio, but if you look here starting at the top, you've got, it looks like these are all this is a climate control section over here. So you've got 3 buttons that will push it to, looks like floor and mix of floor and face, it looks like. I'm not sure what that button is. Maybe that's AC on or off, not sure. This one looks like fresh air, lets the fresh air in. This is recirculate. And then I think we've got rear defrost and front defrost here. Then we've got fan control here, higher speed, lower speed, and off. And then we've got temperature control. So you got hotter and colder, and then we've got a button here that says vent. And also at the bottom, we've got lock and run. The run is associated with these buttons over here. These are number buttons. So let's let it just play it through here and move to the other side. Here we go. So these are buttons, number buttons that you can enter a code and start the car and then press run. So that's pretty cool. That's you had keyless operation of the vehicle back in the 90s. That's something that would have been very new at the time. Also, you can see we've got something called cabin preconditioning, which for those of us who are driving electric vehicles, we're pretty familiar with that. It's something you can program into the car, and it will precondition the car, either heat it up or cool it down for you as needed at a specific time every day. And what it's meant for is to pull power from the wall outlet rather than using battery power from your car to extend the range. And it looks like they had that already built into the car here. So we've got a little, looks like a clock here. Then we've got hour and then minute and then on. So it looks like you can switch it on or off and set the hour and minute for when you want your climate control to be switched on for you. So I didn't realize that was a option that they had thought of back in the 90s when they were designing this. So it was pretty cool. As I move up here, I can see this one looks like a window, either window, driver and passenger window up and down. And then this button, I can't see it here. Let's see if we can continue on a little bit further and see what else we find. Oh, and then we got a good view of the entertainment system here. So everything over here looks fairly standard for any 90s car. So you've got your bass, controls, treble, balance and fade. You got a slot along here for your CD player. Then you got your power on and off. It's also your volume, AM, FM, tape, CD. And I'm sure that's the display, which is blank right now. This car is not on and probably hasn't been on in 20 years. Recall, tone. And you got tuner, seek up and down, hours and minutes for your clock, which there's probably a clock in here. And then you got your presets, 5 buttons for presets for your radio. And then eject for your tape. And this is a cassette tape deck. We've got Dolby B noise reduction, it says on it, and scan. Scan, I'm sure it's either scan on the tape or scan on the radio stations probably, or scan on the CD player, depending on which one you're using. So pretty cool, but it has all the features that 90s cars had at the time.
Wow. This is like your shift knob, you've got the on-off button. Holy crap. This is insane. Yeah, I don't think it had, there's like no place to put the key. I can't remember how the key goes in.
To enter the EV1, you'll need your personal ID code. The key is optional. Once inside, there are several features that will make you feel more like a jet pilot than an average driver. For starters, you will not find an ignition switch. To start the EV1, you need to enter your ID code and then press the run button. To turn it off, press the lock button.
Yeah, it looks like they've completely unplugged any kind of working parts on the vehicle.
Disabled entirely. It says anti-lock brake system
this
on
shift
the
knob is
brake pedal.
completely disabled. Like it just moves back and forth. It doesn't actually shift or do anything. So they've completely gutted this entire car. And it looks like this one has just been completely abandoned. Nobody's touched it, it looks like. It's dirty. It's got broken panels, all kinds of stuff. It's just really not in good shape. So it looks like it's literally just been sitting here for years.
So I thought that was a pretty cool video. This fellow found one in the parking lot and he just sort of walked up to it and started taking videos of it. If anyone's in the Ohio State University area, I'm curious if this place is familiar to you. If you take a drive around, let us know if you can find this car still. This video is from a few years ago, so this car may have been moved or put somewhere else. It might not be there anymore, but definitely in this image here, looking at the state of the front bumper there, it looks like it was sitting outside for a long time because that's a lot of sun damage. That doesn't happen overnight, so it takes a long time for the sun to do that. But as I said before, the cars were never set up to be driven. They were simply meant to be used for research purposes at universities. So I just wanted to share my thoughts with you today about the GM EV1. It's a vehicle that I was excited about when it came out, and I had thought there was a bright future for it, and it was relegated to the scrapyard for the most part, unfortunately. Again, that documentary, Who Killed the Electric Car from 2006, tells the whole story, so I won't repeat it here. but certainly was disappointing to say the least. I guess I was kind of thinking that EVs were soon to come, and by year 2000 or 2001, 2003, there would be more of them around, and really they didn't happen, and the whole industry was put on hold for a good 10 years or more. But where we are now today, in this time and age, is a lot better. There's just simply a lot of options out there and so many choices available, which is great. So I really appreciate you taking the time to go back in history with me and explore the GM EV1. I have a lot of electric vehicle videos on my channel, and if you're interested to view more, I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for me. And also, if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.